Good evening. Welcome to Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. This is our Wednesday night meeting, Practicing the Presence, Going Within. And the service tonight will be led by Reverend Bill Salisbury. We have a lot of announcements tonight, so get your pencil out. On July 30th, that's 1 week from tomorrow, Dr. Jim Turrell will present by film and lecture a series, Time to Leave. It's for those dealing with terminal illness and also for family and friends. That's starting on July 30th at 6:30 p.m., not a.m. The next evening, Friday, July 31st, the Seaside Sisters start an Earth Care series titled Love Thy Nature. That's a film series made by an Emmy-nominated director, Sylgzie Kobab. That's Friday night, 6:30 to 9:30 here at Seaside. And don't miss this one. Who says there's no free lunch? Seaside Family Appreciation Day. Lunch will be served and music by Carl Anthony here on the patio. And that will be on Sunday, July 26th. The Board of Trustees is presenting this in appreciation for all the people of Seaside. That's Sunday, July 26th. And how about a comedy show? Outside the Lines, an improv comedy group will come here to perform after the second service on, sorry, see me after the service. I didn't put it in my notes. But on that day, oh mercy. Anyway, sorry. I don't have it here. One more, August 17th will be the Seaside Picnic. And that will be outside, and there'll be a barbecue, food, and fun. And that is August 16th. On July 21st to August 18th, a series called Ignite Your Inner Fire Through Latin Dance with Rima Montero. That's 5 weeks. Well, the 21st was yesterday, so it's 4 more. And learn basic Latin dance steps and movement to promote the releasing of stagnant energy in the body, as well as uncovering any limited beliefs that may be in the way of expressing yourself. That's on Tuesday nights at 6:30. And every Monday from now until August 31st, the Deep Sound Meditation. Over 100 Tibetan singing bowls, gongs, bells, chimes, a harp, and a flute. That's to support the Nepal Earthquake Relief Fund. Dress comfortably, bring a blanket and yoga mat. A suggested love offering of $15. And another reminder, Lori Mack is collecting inspirational stories for her Wednesday night Going Within gathering. If you have an aha or an inspiration, or have a friend who's had an experience that would you could share with Lori, because as each of us is healed, we can share that, and others will be healed. And you can share that anonymously if you want. You can email it to sharemystorywithrevlorimac@gmail.com. sharemystorywithrevlorimac@gmail.com. And something to ponder. It is sure that those who hold grievances will suffer guilt, as it is certain that who forgives will find peace. And now, Aria, sorry.
at the door as I step into the light of this sacred place. I gently open my heart, I humbly offer my soul as I step into the love of this sacred space. And I can feel the love and the peace and the welcoming of hearts. I can feel the joy and the grace and the warmth of coming home. I can feel the love and the peace and the welcoming of hearts. I can feel the joy and the grace and the warmth of coming home.
Oh, thank you, Aria, for that beautiful music. And thank you, Bob, for the announcements. And as Bob was saying, this is Reverend Laurie McMackin's Wednesday, which is practicing the presence. And Laurie's out of town this week, so I'm Bill Salisbury, and I'm really delighted to be here to share this Wednesday evening with you. I generally share Wednesday evenings with you because I'm usually sitting in the back there, but the view from up here is pretty good. So, and Jim Bianchi's out of town, and look what we have. Aria Dawn, who would have known?
Who would have thought?
Yeah. So, this is that Wednesday night kind of shot in the arm spiritually that we get together for with kindred spirits and with other spiritual seekers. And it's a nice break. It's great for me. I love to do this because I like that sharing of the joy and the happiness that comes with getting together in community like this. And at this time, we just generally start the service. I invite you, if you have not already lit a candle, to do so at this time and light it with the intention for yourself or for somebody else, knowing that as you do, and they are with us in spirit for this service, that all is well, and they will be in our thoughts, in our minds, and in our service. So I invite you to light your candles. So this is the time of the service where we go into silent meditation. And just so you know, we have, as always, two practitioners here tonight. We have Ellen Rice holding the light in the back. We have Trudy Safety up here. And both of these practitioners are available for a short prayer after the service. And right now, if you wish, I just invite you to think back to a time or a place or a person or a circumstance, something that was really splendid, something that really gave you that passion, something that gave you that feeling of joy, of love, of absolute, intense togetherness, unity. And then I invite you to just recall that feeling. And if you just take that feeling into this silent meditation with you, we'll uplift all together as one. Thank you. remembered it. Okay.
So let us turn within. Let us turn within to center, to our inner consciousness, to that place that knows that it knows, to the place where we are one. Let us turn in know, recognizing that there is a power for good. And as I reveal more of this powerful presence in this room, seeing the divinity in each individual, seeing this divinity, this power, this presence, just unfolding in its beauty tonight. And just really feeling the heart chakra opening with intrigue and curiosity, coming here this evening, knowing that something nudged you to come. Something big and beautiful in your life, and perhaps this being, this idea is God. And so it is with this unfoldment of certainty that this evening is just unfolding in its perfection, that it is creating the perfect service tonight. We just give thanks for this knowledge, thanks for the idea of Seaside, and the manifestation of each one here. And so I simply say, thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. Well, good evening. My name is Trudy Seifke, and I am a practitioner here at Seaside. Today we were very busy with practitioner panels, and it was such a delight to be with such enthusiastic new energy, embarking in this threshold of becoming a practitioner. So I'm kind of jazzed up tonight. I feel really happy to be here. I have a reading that coincides with this particularly wonderful topic about residual income, and I sat with that notion, as we will tonight together, and I came up with a reading that I found called Repairing the World with Your Own Prosperity. It's written by a man. He's a metaphysician. His name is Sherwood Loomis. You gotta love that name, Sherwood Loomis. And he writes, the relationship between our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs form the result that we experience. This means that all our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs about money creates the money energy or vibration or spirit life that attracts to us the amount of money we believe we deserve. While money can't buy you happiness, it certainly lets you choose your own form of misery. Groucho Marx. Despite the economy or your past experiences, it's possible to change your present conditions toward prosperity. Increasing your beliefs about how much money you deserve will increase your money vibrations. Just like water that seeks its own level, there is a universal corrective force that will bring balance and harmony to one's life. There are universal laws, and Ernest Holmes speaks of these. They are the source of all health, all wealth, all happiness, joy, profound peace, assurance, and fulfillment. And if these laws, he writes, of the other elements of life are true, then why would it not fulfill our prosperity quota? If you want to know what God thinks of money, just look at the people he gave it to. Dorothy Parker. So being prosperous or successful is not an easy task. It is a huge responsibility. And you must be well prepared for it. You need to change the way your mind thinks and perceives things, and being transformed by renewing your mind. Attracting prosperity is a state of mind which you attract the amount of prosperity you think you deserve. If you want to reap financial blessings, then you have to sow financially. Joel Osteen. spiritual and metaphysical money represents a form of creative energy. Our world is full of this life, nourishing energy. There's plenty for all of us. It is an expression of our life and not the measure of it. This flow of energy is what nourishes the life within us. It is vital to life. The source of all wealth is in the mind, and achieving total wealth and being able to enjoy unlimited riches is a matter of cultivating a proper attitude concerning prosperity. Anyone who lives within their means suffers from a lack of imagination. Oscar Wilde. The difference between religion and spirituality can make a major difference to our peace of mind and our inner peace. Spirituality is the solution, he writes, to global challenges, our personal needs, to cure our place of social condition and back into harmony with the divine. It allows us to live in the moment and change our old negative patterns and heal the wounds of the past. Spirituality with money will transform our relationships and allow us to raise spiritually aware children and resolve ongoing stress regardless of its source. In addition, we'll learn how to find life's purpose and how to achieve unconditional true peace. Do what you love, and the money will follow. Marcia Seintar. Amen, amen.
Oh, thank you, Trudy. Yeah, there is only one mind, because I hadn't heard that reading, and later on we're going to find I hadn't heard the song that Arya's chosen. But they fit so well. Of course, everything in the end does, doesn't it? So, the title of tonight's talk is Spiritual Residual Income. Isn't that great? I think that when Reverend Lori called and said she needed to have a talk title, I was driving down the road and there was a commercial on the radio and it had something to do with that. So, I just blurted it out. And then I thought afterwards, that probably makes some pretty good sense. Something about residual income. But I think we should clarify the terms first. So I want to work backwards. Income, I think we can pretty much agree. Income is something that we receive of value for somebody, for energy that we expend on their behalf. And as usually that might be a person or a company, a business, some sort of thing like that. But we put forth that energy, we give our expertise, we do what we do, and we get rewarded for it. We get compensated, we get probably income in return. And that's pretty much linear income. Residual income doesn't work quite that way. Are there any business people in here? Because part of the reason for blurting out that title was I thought maybe we'd catch some business people unaware and they'd end up here on a Wednesday night when they wouldn't normally because it sounded like something they'd be interested in. But residual income works like this. You expend your energy, you use your expertise, you do what you do, and you get recompensed for it. And then, after that, without doing anything else, you still keep getting rewarded for it. And this happens in many different ways. This can be something like, you could become a movie actor or actress, put out a big blockbuster hit, and then get paid for that over and over and over and over and over. And this can go on for weeks, months, years, maybe for the rest of your life in some cases. You might invent something, and then you keep getting rewarded for this every time somebody uses it. In the sales industry, a lot of times you sell something, and then as it renews each year, like insurance, for example, you've done really nothing but make a phone call. If that, people generally just renew it on their own, and you get that residual income. You get paid again for that. You haven't expended any more energy, but you're getting paid again for it anyway. Or if you have property and somebody says they want to put up a satellite tower, What else? You buy a building and you lease or rent it out to somebody. You've made your initial expenditure of your effort, time, money, and then it just keeps coming back to you. Your income keeps coming back to you. It used to be you could do that with savings accounts. Anybody remember those days? You could actually put money in a savings account and it would make you residual income. It doesn't happen so much anymore. But what about spiritual income? If regular income is a reward you get or a gain you make or an improvement or an enhancement to your life by the effort you expend, wouldn't it just be natural to think that spiritually that works the same way? We make that spiritual effort and it doesn't go unanswered. It doesn't go uncompensated. We make a spiritual effort, we get rewarded back for that. And here's what I figured out. All spiritual income is residual income. Not all other income is residual income, but all spiritual income is residual. Because I think it kind of works like this. Once we decide that there's something out there, in here, but there's something bigger than we are, and we can maybe figure out how to get involved in this. You know, in my younger days, I was pretty much unchurched. I mean, I just didn't do church or anything spiritual. Well, in my really younger years, I did, because I think we're all born with this innate knowledge, or at least thinking, feeling that we are connected to everything and everything's connected to each other, and it's just all one big unity. And then we get separated from that somehow. And as the conditioning of the world takes effect, any thought of that just kind of left me, and I was really comfortable in my non-churchness. And then somewhere along the line, that feeling came back to me, and I'm thinking, there's got to be something. I can't be knowing everything there is. And sometimes, you ever get that feeling that you're doing something, seeing something, listening to something, feeling something, and that feeling comes over you? And you just know that there's some sort of connection. There's something going on here that I'm not aware of, that you're not aware of. So, once you get to that point, if you're born into a spiritual family and you're raised spiritually from, all the way up, this doesn't apply to you. But you've already put in your time. You've put forth that initial effort. You just did it at a very young age. For the rest of us that didn't happen to, then once we make that decision and we make that first effort, that first step forward, what they say is you take one step toward God, and God just comes rushing to you. I mean, happiness. Happiness is watching us and waiting for us to give it a chance. And as soon as we do, it just comes barreling right down on us. And joy and beauty and love and truth and happiness, it's all the same. But we just don't just get that naturally. Okay? We don't just get happiness naturally. We sometimes, yeah. But I mean, do we have happiness every minute of the day? And we have to choose happiness. We have to choose joy. And we have to choose it every minute. And the thing about it is, joy and happiness, truth, beauty, love, they don't live in the past. And they aren't somewhere out there in the future. They're right here, right now. That's what we live in. And once we make the decision that we're going to live like that, we're going to surrender to this and accept it into our lives and know for a fact that there's a power out there, as our founder Ernest Holmes used to say, there's a power for good in the universe and we can use it. And once you do that, I believe you start laying the foundation for the entire spectrum of spirituality that is available to us. And that's the initial effort. At least that's the foundation of it. And then we add a little bit more, and we add a little bit more. And sometimes, there were days I had to talk myself into saying, you know what? It's all, God's all around. This condition, no problem. Okay? I'm not going to tell you about how big my problem is. I'm going to tell you about how big my God is, right? So I can just continue to build on this foundation, and I don't have to go out and restart. I don't have to start from scratch every day or every time or every condition or every circumstance. I don't have to start from scratch. It's already there because I've already earned that income, that spiritual enhancement, that spiritual good. I've already earned that. And it's working for me because it's helping me to attract more and more and more and more of the same thing. So every time I look in the direction of truth, beauty, joy, happiness, love, God, every time I look in that direction, I'm getting more of it. It's like a magnet. And that's the spiritual residual income. The beginning part has never left me. It's always there. And it keeps attracting more and more to me. In our Roots class on Tuesday nights, we're talking about Emma Curtis Hopkins. And Emma says, everybody is seeking his or her own good. Whether we're aware of it or not, we're always seeking our own good. And that's the absolute good. Okay? That's good in the case of, like she says, our good, as it turns out, is our God. And our God is our good. So we're not talking about the relational good like, how was that? Oh, it was good. Because good in that respect is the enemy of great, is it not? Good is the enemy of great. If we settle for good, we're never getting to great. But when we think about it in terms of the absolute good, the good being our God, the more we think about it, the less we have to think about it because we're reconditioning ourselves. We're not going with that conditioning that society put on us all these years. We're going with our own conditioning, knowing that this universe conspires for our good. That we can use this power, we can co-create with it, we can direct our own world, we can direct our circumstance, we can build our own world around us. And we don't have to start fresh every day. We've already laid the foundation, and we've got this residual income coming in constantly. And now all we have to do is nuance it. And we have to look at it, I think, squarely. We have to look at it in the face. I mean, really, Mount Rushmore doesn't look very good from the Canadian side, right? I mean, you wouldn't go around and look at this from the wrong direction. So as long as we're thinking about constantly bringing joy, bringing all God qualities into our life, then pretty soon we just start doing it without thinking about it. We've all known somebody who was just like magic, right? Everything went right for them. And we'd flock to them. You know, beautiful people, and everything always worked, and they always had the right answer, and life always went their way. They never got a bad bounce. They are working their spiritual income, and they've probably had it for years. But it's when you're in that flow, because when we have that income coming, what do we have to do with it? It's coming in, we have to let it out. So when we start spending our spiritual wealth, our spiritual income, then all at once we've got that flow going on. The more we spend, the more we get, the more that comes in. And then pretty soon we spend some more, we get some more, we spend some more, we get some more, and we keep doing it at this ever-increasing size and capacity. We're not being stingy with it. We're investing our spiritual wealth in our world. And it pays off and it shows, and it always returns a really hefty investment for us. There's a story about the guy, because every guy walks his donkey, right? The guy walking his donkey across his land, and there's a spot where it used to be a well. And the well is gone, but the hole's still there. So he's walking his donkey, the donkey falls in the well. And it's a really long way down. And he can hear the donkey braying down there, and he's trying to throw a rope down. He's trying to lower himself down. It's just too far to go, and he can't do it. But he's a compassionate farmer. So he grabs a shovel, which he probably had nearby, because you know how stories go. Everything we need is right there in them. And he just starts throwing dirt, and he thinks, I'll just bury this donkey, you know, and it'll be happy, I'll be happy, and life will be good. So he just starts throwing dirt in to bury the donkey. Well, as the dirt lands on the donkey, what does the donkey do? Shakes it off, and it just falls to his feet. Well, this poor farmer, he's throwing dirt in there for hours, and the donkey's down there, he's just shaking it off. And where does it go? It goes right below him. And what does that do? It raises him up. So eventually, the farmer grabs a shovel full of dirt to throw in there, and there's the donkey. The donkey just steps out of the hole and walks away. That's one, rising above the condition, right, in the fullest sense of the word. But two, that's scaffolding of a sort also, because that's allowing that incoming dirt for the donkey, his income, to build and build and build and serve him such that it rose him to the top. And that's what spiritual income does for us. And it's always residual. Now, we can go get more. I guess we can go read more, learn more, listen more, meditate more, prayer more, which we all do, because that's part of, by now, our spiritual practices. And when we turn this spiritual income into those spiritual practices and live on those spiritual principles, we just can't help but get spiritually rich because of it. Can we? The more you take in, the more you give out. The more you give out, the more you take in. And once you have that foundation laid, once you recognize that there's a power for good that you can use, and once you start those spiritual practices and living by those spiritual principles, and we find that we don't settle for anymore. Right? We don't settle for what life will bring us. We dictate what life will bring us. We don't have to go in search of our good anymore. We just have to demand our good. It's ours by divine birthright. We are created in the image and likeness of God. How can you go wrong with that? How can we fail? How can the same stuff that planets and galaxies and universes are made of, and the same energy that powers and drives and informs all these things, is the stuff and the energy from which we are made and by which we are driven. This is a win-win. I mean, that's the per word in business today, right? Win-win. Well, this is a win-win. How can it get any better than that? And Ernest Holmes also said, there's one life. That life is perfect. That life is God. That life is my life now. And as long as we stay within that feeling, within that knowing, within that philosophy and that teaching, as long as we work within that, surrender to that divine process and allow that spiritual income to come in on us, it's going to happen when we're sleeping. It's going to happen when we're waking. It's going to happen in everything we do. Wow, what would you give for that business? And knowing that, when we know that we are not only co-creating with the divine, but we are connected to the divine. That little spark of divinity that's within us, and when it's attended to, growing into that little flame, that soft flame that's found kind of at the center of our being, and we pamper that, and we pay attention to that, and we feed that, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows, and pretty soon it fills us. It fills us with that light that is God. It fills us from bottom to top, from front to back. It fills us at the cellular level. It fills us to where there just isn't room for any more. That's what we are. We are this divine essence, and it radiates forth from us. And when it does, it goes out into our world, lighting up everything we see, everybody we come in contact with, every circumstance, every situation, every possibility and potentiality. It just lights it up. And it's covered with that divine glow also. And we haven't done anything more to earn that. That's just residual spiritual glow. It's already ours. It's already there. We've already recognized it. Now all we do is every once in a while, like a new puppy, I guess, we take it out and we play with it, and we just watch it grow and watch it foster into that animal that just ends up just loving us to death, because that's what life will do. Life loves us to death. We don't have to ask for it. That's what we're here for. I doubt seriously that there could ever be a case where a creator creates something and then abandons it and leaves it to fend for itself. And we're not in that position. We're put on this earth to learn and to grow and to love and to share and to commune with one another. And the more we do that, the easier it becomes, the closer we become, the more tight-knit we become, the more of a unit we become. And then all at once, all of that spiritual income has come together, yours and mine and yours and yours and yours, and we just pile it all together, and we've got all of it in the world. And I think that's our goal. Now, sometimes it seems a little slower to collect it than others, but as long as we stay true to our purpose and know that all things unfold in absolutely divine right order, in God's time, and always, always, always for our highest and best good, even though at times it doesn't feel like that. What's that? What was that movie? The Something Best Marigold Hotel or whatever it was. Remember the line in that? If it's not a happy ending, if we're not exactly where we want to be, well, it's not the ending. That's all. We're just stopped prematurely. Because the logical end of this is that when everybody gets in touch with his or her divinity, and everybody takes in that spiritual residual income, and everybody spends it back out in an effort to keep our human family going, remembering that we're humans here, but we are truly spiritual beings having this human experience. And as such, whenever we combine our efforts like that, we just lift the whole planet. So your income, my income, everybody's income, when combined, is enough to satisfy all the wants of the world and more. Because there's no shortage. We live in an abundant universe, a prosperous universe. Everything we could ever possibly want or need is right here. All we have to do is accept it. And when we realize this and we open to that acceptance, and we just, without asking how or why, just know that all of our needs are provided for, that we are eternal beings, ever expanding, ever unfolding, ever, just we become more and more of who we are at all the time. And remembering, too, that we are God expressing itself as us. And knowing that, and knowing we have the right to all the revenue that this spiritual income provides, I don't think we can go wrong. So I invite you to just take a minute, if you wish, and just go within and just know that in this world, on this plane, God is present always and forever. God works in, as, and through each one of us, providing everything we ever need, fulfilling every need, caring for our being through this life and the next, as we go on ever expanding, ever more aware, ever more in tune, ever more in touch, ever more involved with the co-creation process. Each of us, together with the divine, forges our own being. And by the same token that it was said in Matthew that wherever two or more, or two or three or more, depending on which version you read, two or more gather in my name, I'll be there. I think that sells us a little short, because I think it doesn't take two or more. I think one of us at any time, anywhere, any place, any circumstance, one of us recognizing, surrendering to, and co-creating with God is all we ever need. With that in mind, and the gratefulness that brings to my heart, knowing that all of our needs are met, that our income is always provided for us spiritually, it's just with grateful heart that I just recognize this and I release it. I release it to that law, knowing that as I do, it is already done. It is always ours. It is mine. It is yours. I just release this word. I let it go. And so it is. Thank you.
I've visualized and I've worked a plan. Let it go into your hands, and I've done all I know how. I pray each night that each day I see just a little love shining back at me. Oh, and I thank you, God, for the miracles yet to be. Now I bow down to receive. I've given all I can, my heart, my tithe, a helping hand, and now I surrender to thee. There's nothing left
Ooh, thank you, Arya.
Yeah.
So that brings us to our time of conscious giving. So if we can have the ushers come forward, please. And maybe we could have our prosperity affirmation on the wall. And just knowing that at this time, if you wish, you may just take out your offering, take out that part of that financial energy that you wish to include at the seaside baskets for good, knowing that as we give, so too do we receive, and that everything that comes in through Seaside here goes to do work in this spiritual community and goes out to do work in the world at large also, the outside community and global outreaches. So just knowing this, as you hold this offering next to your heart, knowing that it's with warm gratitude, with love and appreciation and thankfulness that we have coming in such that we can allow to go out to serve those needs that we choose. If you just read the affirmation on the screen with me, freely I give, freely I receive. I am immersed in the universal flow, knowing my gift does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. So now it's time for our circle of love. So I just invite you, if you have a name of anybody you'd like to bring into this circle, knowing that as you do, that any healing that needs to take place on their behalf will take place on their behalf. And if you have somebody, a person or a circumstance that you would like to have some healing around, just let me know. I'll just, Reverend Laurie uses that nice, dainty little Tibetan bell. We don't have a little Tibetan bell tonight, but we've got this humongous Tibetan bowl that should do about the same thing. Oh, yeah, can you hear that? All right, who do we want to bring into the circle? Great. So let's just know together that as we bring these people into this circle of love, that this circle is whole, it's complete, it's unbroken, it's unbounded, it's eternal, it's infinite, it's forever. It is pure, true love, joy, beauty, happiness, unity. It is godliness. It is divine. And that each life is whole, perfect, and complete, and is healthy in every possible fashion. That is the truth of each of these people. It is the truth of each of us. That in the mind of God, in our essence, there's no untoward circumstance or condition. As our founder Ernest Holmes says, we believe in the immortality, the eternality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. And it forever and ever expands in total, complete perfection, health, wholeness. And knowing that and delighting in that, I just release this word knowing that the only healing that ever needs done is just the revealing of the truth of each of these individuals, and claiming that truth for them, claiming that revelation of their wholeness. I just let this word go. I release it and say, so it is. You got to excuse me while I look at my cheat sheet, because there's a host of people that we need to thank. And then we'll go into our closing song. Is it the peace song tonight? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, thanks, Bob, for the announcements. Thanks, of course, Aria. Thanks to our practitioners, Trudy and Ellen. Thanks to Melanie Bennett, Ed Reeves, Matt Berger, Tim Griffin, Gregory Neville on the video, and Jenny Mills and Dennis Mills, and everybody and anybody else who had anything to do with this service. And remember that next week it'll be Reverend Debbie McDonald again with practicing the principles. With that, I just invite you to stand. Grab the hand of God on the right, grab the hand of God on the left, and we'll sing ourselves out of here. And as we do, I just invite you at the end of this song to go forth into this world doing what only you can do and expressing as God, as you, in only the way that you can. And in such a manner that people who do not know God, but who know you, will come to know God because they know you. Bless you.
And we're not doing Blessed Always. Reverend Laurie sent me the peace song, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well.
There you go.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our power, and love it all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace Well, and that's not the words for the people.